The Club World Cup. It's a tournament that not that many people care about, but that has also given us some really cool matchups like Fluminz versus Dortmund, PSG Miami, Bayern Flamingo, and Boka versus Benfica. But what I find interesting is seeing the different kits that teams are wearing from around the world. So I thought with the Club World Cup coming into its final stages, it would be a good idea to release a video where I have a go at designing some Club World Cup kits. So that's what I've done using FIFA Kit Creator. I've made 32 different Club World Cup home kits. Now this collection was pretty hastily put together because designing kits does take a while and I didn't have that long to make this video, but I have managed to make 32 different designs, so let's just take a look at them. Before we start though, please feel free to subscribe. It's completely free and you can always unsubscribe later. But with that being said, we're going to go through alphabetically, so let's take a look at my design for Alain. So this is my design for Alain. Now what you might notice is that it's actually based off of the club badge. If you look at the club badge, it's got those red details going across, it's got that white line. That's basically what I've got here. I've sort of translated what's going on in the badge onto the kit itself, which is, I think, a new idea, at least for Alain shirts. Let me know if you like it in the comments. Now, the sponsor's kind of ugly, but that's not on me. I'm using the sponsors and the kit manufacturers that the clubs officially use, so I kind of have to work around them if they're not the best. That's what I've gone for Alain. Now, moving on to Alain, or Alain, I don't really know how to pronounce it. This one's purple and white like most Alain kits. Logos down the middle because it just looked better for this specific kit. I'm not sure why. The logos are in gold, of course, to match the gold on the Alain badge. There are also touches of gold on the sleeve cuffs and a unique design in the purple. It has no real link to the club. I just thought it looked cool after messing about with a few patterns. So yeah, that's my design for Alain. And now let's move on to another Al club, Al Hilal. I've gone dark, a nice dark blue to contrast with the white. Big logos in the middle, and I've also got a design in that blue, a sort of ripple between darker blue and blue that's still dark but not quite as dark as the other type of blue. Maybe I'm just waffling, but I think it looks sort of like the ripples in a Saudi robe type thing. Either that or it's just a nice looking design, I don't know, but I like this one. It's just dark blue and white, two colours, nice and bold. I think it works. But then I made the kit, so of course I'd say that. Let me know in the comments if you agree. But now let's take a look at the next design, Atletico Madrid. It does look like a very simple Atletico kit you might see. I've gone for red and white stripes, obviously. I feel like they're nicely spaced out, and I have got a design in there, sort of like a sound wave sort of design. I don't know. Again, no link to the club, I just thought it looked good. And yeah, this is a pretty basic, but I think clean Atletico shirt. They have been experimenting a lot recently, so I thought it was a good idea to sort of revert back to the traditional Atletico stripes, and this is what I came up with. Now, next up, Oakland City FC. They're a team that normally goes for a sort of checkered shirt. I look back at their previous designs and I've gone for a different take on the checkers. They're sort of only present in that middle bit. I think it looks unique, although I do kind of prefer just a basic checkers design. I thought for the purposes of this video I would experiment a little bit here. I've also got some gold going on as the secondary colour, I guess just to celebrate the massive achievement of Auckland, you know, being able to face all the biggest clubs in the world while being an amateur team with plumbers in their starting 11. Seriously, I don't know how this happened. But anyway, next up is the team that they lost 10-0 to, Bayern Munich. Now this Bayern shirt is sort of similar to what they did 2 seasons ago, but kind of reversed. So that kit had white on the base, red on the sleeves. This one's kind of the opposite. It's also got some white coming in from the sides. You can see it better from this angle. And then in the red, I've got the Mia San Mia sort of spaced out there. Kind of subtle, but I think it would look good on the actual kit to have a little bit of a reference to the club. And yeah, this is my take on the Bayern home kit. I did also take inspiration from this season's new shirt, which is completely bonkers. So this one I guess works as a more traditional shirt, but also is unique. And now Benfica. This one's different. I was messing around with sort of lines all around the place. White lines on the sleeves, white lines on the sides, some red stripes within the red, and a touch of gold on the collar. There's so much going on here, but also it does just look like a Benfica home shirt. The red and white, those are Benfica's colours. The gold at the top is like the gold at the top of the badge on the eagle. I don't know, maybe I got a bit carried away with this one, but I think it looks nice. And now onto a much simpler and more traditional design, Boka Juniors. It's obviously got the blue and yellow, the main colours of Boka, the yellow stripe down the middle. It features those stars that you can see in the Boka badge on the blue quite subtly. I'm not sure if you can see them, but I feel like that's a nice touch. But overall, this is just a nice traditional Boka kit. I didn't want to do too much with it. I tried a few things, they didn't really work out, so this is what I've come up with in the end. Maybe it's a bit basic, but I like it. And what I have just realised is that we've just done 4 in a row that were all in the same Club World Cup group. Benfica, Bayern, Boka and Auckland were all next to each other in the alphabet, which is quite funny. But anyway, moving on to Botafogo. I've gone for 2 big black stripes, just black and white on this shirt, and on the sleeves, it's sort of like a folded version of the Botafogo logo. You might not understand, but that's how I made it. I sort of messed about with the Boka logo, that black shield with the white star, and sort of rotated it a bit, mirrored it, and somehow ended up with this stuff on the sleeves, which I think looks nice. You probably can't really tell that it's actually from the badge, because all you can see of the star is just those little white sticky out bits. But yeah, most of these kits are just made by me messing around and eventually stumbling upon something that looks half decent. That's what I did here, although I probably should have just taken out those white sticky out bits under the sleeves and just left the white line on the sleeves. I think that would have looked much nicer. But anyway, it doesn't matter, let's just move on to Chelsea. And remember this Autoglass sponsored shirt that they had back in the 90s? You probably don't because, like me, you weren't alive, but whatever. That one's Autoglass, and this design is broken glass. Don't ask how I got there, but this just looks kind of cool, doesn't it? There's broken glass pattern going on in the blue. On the sleeves and on the sides of the kit, I've got this sort of fuzzy electric thing. I don't know what's going on there in the white, but I think it looks good. Chelsea also currently don't have a sponsor, which is just kind of embarrassing. But yeah, when you look at it from this angle, you can definitely see that electric stuff much better. I think it looks pretty cool and it's definitely unique. But now let's move on to Borussia Dortmund, who are probably in the wrong place alphabetically. I just did it off Dortmund rather than Borussia Dortmund, which was a bit stupid of me. But anyway, here we've got a yellow and black striped shirt, of course. They have actually been going for a sort of different angle on the black stripes. It's been a long time since we just saw bold black. They've always done something different, so I've reverted back to the classic yellow and black stripes. There's an interesting design in the yellow, which is another random one that I can't be bothered to explain. And there's also white there just to sort of balance it out, white in the Puma logo. I think it looks nice. But let's just move on to the next shirt, Esperance de Sporting Tunis. And this is one that I think is a little bit more interesting. I've done something new with the yellow stripes just to make it look a bit different. I think it looks nice anyway. Some black on the sleeves as well, nicely integrated into those stripes. Black on the logos and in the collar as well. I think the black, red and yellow combo that Esperance use is really nice. And I've also got this nice Tunisian pattern that I found by literally searching up Tunisian pattern on the internet. But it looks good, doesn't it? It looks very cultural. But now on to Flamingo. I've gone for a perhaps darker red than they might normally use here. Red and black is obviously the main colour combination of Flamingo. Some white in there as well on the collar, cuffs, Adidas stripes and logos. There's that little bit of red on the top as well, below the Adidas stripes, which I think just looks pretty good. I don't know why, it just does. And there's a design in the red as well. I think overall this one just works well. Red, black and white, they work well together. And yeah, this is my effort for Flamingo. Now next up is Fluminz, and I know I've been praising all the colour combinations during this video, but this one in particular is really nice and unique. The red and sort of bluey green colour with the white separator, I think it looks lovely. I've got that red stripe down the middle horizontally to make room for the sponsor, but also just as a general part of the design. I think it looks good, mixes it up a little bit. I've also used the Umbro logo to get both of those colours in again. I think it blends in really well with the kit, as does the badge. I've done a new take on the stripes. They're a bit wider than they are for this season's shirts, but let me know what you guys think. Next up is Inter, and I've gone for another different design on this one. 3 stripes down the right hand side, 1 sort of zigzag down the left hand side with white outlines on the blue, a nice dark black. I don't know how you can have a dark black, it's just black, but anyway, white touches around the logos and the collar and the cuffs. A different Inter Milan logo, it's just an all white monochrome logo, which I think looks nice for this particular design, and it's definitely different to what we're used to seeing on Inter kits. Let me know if you like it or not. I think it looks good. Also, I just want to point out it's another betting sponsor. There have been so many betting sponsors already in this video, which is not great to see.
But on that terrible disappointment, it is time to end part 1. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later in part 2.